Check, check. 1, 2. Right. Welcome to anyone joining me for the stream today. This will be my first stream in none other than the Fenix A320 Airbus. We're currently located in Kathmandu, and we'll be making our way shortly to Paro, an airport in what is allegedly one of the happiest countries in the world, Bhutan. For this reason, we find ourselves in the Royal Bhutan Airways livery for our Airbus A320. So without further delay, let's jump into the cockpit and get things started. Let's see if I can get myself back in the cockpit. There we go. I just want to actually clear that button. There we go, so we don't fall out of the sky, I guess, in mid-flight. So as you can see, we've actually got authentic Druk Air markings both inside and outside the aircraft. We currently find ourselves on the main apron here for the time being. It is freeware scenery. You can find it on that flightsim.to website. Before we get going here, I actually do want to do this online, and I did forget to log on to VATSIM, so let's just do that quickly. Then I'll review the flight and we can get going. So according to Wikipedia, the call sign for this airline is Royal Bhutan. A little long-winded if you ask me. Oh dear, what was my call sign again? Let's just call up my flight plan here. We are Royal Bhutan 101, of course, which I think is DR. Yes, DRK. There, it actually says it in the flight plan. 20. Please excuse me if I do sound a bit strange, or a little bit more strange than normal. The last few days, I'm allergic to dust and pollen, but where I live at the moment, it's not a lot of pollen, but there's a crap load of dust, and the wind's been blowing for the past few days, so my sinuses are not having the best time, nor am I for that matter, as a result. So we'll push through it. If you hear me sniveling or coughing, please excuse me. I'll try and mute the mic should I feel the need to do so. But yeah, for now, mic's going to remain hot until further notice. Right, we are online. I don't hear or see any other aircraft, so it looks like it's just us for now. Let's get the aircraft started up here. So first things first, let's get the batteries going. We've already got external power connected to the aircraft, so we're going to go ahead and connect that immediately. Nav and logo lights on. Arm the external, the emergency exit lights. Cruise supply can come on, and ground mode, wherever that is. I keep forgetting to, not GS mode, ground control, there we go. Keep forgetting. Haven't flown this in a while, so bear with me. We'll wait for all the systems to do their self-test, so to make sure my hardware is configured correctly. Looks like it. Alrighty then. Do our lights checks. Make sure they're all working. Our fire tests. What's causing that? Smoke detection. What on earth is causing that? Are we suffering from a glitch right off the bat? What on earth? Alright, we've got a glitch here, so just excuse me as we restart the sim. Typical. I'll be right back. Right. Welcome back. So, yeah, we've had to restart here, so bear with me as I set everything up from scratch. Let's get our little door open there. We can get the other door open. Right, let's get the... Well, we'll first see if we can get this thing started up before... The battery's on, external power on again. Lights, let's arm the external emergency exit lights. There we go. I don't know what caused that. Might be something hardware related. Oh, now we're orange. Okay. Can we not? So again, just double checking these lights, making sure they're all working. I'm gonna wait for that self-test to happen. All right. That seems to be working now. So let's check the APU here. Engine 1, engine 2, and the cargo smoke. Great stuff. Okay. Excuse me. Off to a bumpy start, but I guess that's flight simming for you, at least in my experience. Where was I? All right, let's call the refueling truck here and get the aircraft loaded up.
Refueling truck is on its way.
And I think, yeah, we wait for
Please
that
don't
to
load aircraft until the fuel
before
truck
we
arrives
get
and
the
ask to do it.
aircraft loaded up. In the meantime, let's get the IRS units on. So if we want to do this properly, we're going to pop that one onto nav and make sure that this battery check or whatever that battery flash is does its thing, on and off. And if we want to be chronological, I meant, what's the, I've gone blank. in the order of
Fuel
numbers,
truck is in position.
we'll go 1, 2, and then 3.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
So there is the fuel truck. Let's get our camera in position here. I love, love, love the sound effects of this aircraft, man. And I mean, the fact that GSX has this cute little refueler animation thing, it just adds to the
Please
immersion.
use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
I tend to go and do that. Load aircraft, and we're going to do real time, 30 minutes. As far as I can tell, we'll only have about 88 passengers on board. So I'd imagine it's probably not peak season at the moment. Let's remove the co-pilot's EFB. Okay, so I've changed some settings regarding the stream. So I hope things are looking all right from the viewers' side of things. I'll review the stream, I think, once we're in the air. But for now, I hope everything's okay. You guys can hear me. Alright, so what I like to do, FMC number 2 here, the right one, I like to put on the weather, so it's VNKT, and we'll get the METAR. I don't think there was a TAF available for this airport, so I don't want to, you know, freak the software out in case it's, you know, gonna make issues. Alright, so currently we've got winds calm. Visibility is actually pretty good, surprisingly, although it doesn't look that way outside, if I'm honest. A few clouds at 1,500 feet, scattered cloud layer at 10,000 feet. It's rather warm at 29 degrees, dew point 19. The temperature spreads about 10 degrees. QNH 1014 with no significant change expected, so we'll set the QNH while we have it. Why are we setting it to standard flight simulator? What's going on today? Right, anyways, we'll do it manually here. It says we're in 1015. We're gonna go 1014 just to keep it real. Alright. And we'll start with the initialization process here. So we're going today from VNKT to VQPR, if I'm not mistaken. We'll just double check that before we get ahead of ourselves here. VNKT, VQPR. We are DRK 101. Cost index, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's do 15. And we are cruising at an altitude of 370 with a top of climb temperature of negative 45 degrees Celsius. Boom. Let's initialize the RS, align on ref and confirm, and we'll let it do its thing. Right, so let's see if I can get the Navigraph window up for you guys here. Let's see the sky. Right, so Kathmandu to Paro in Bhutan. It's a bit of a janky routing, but we'll be following the Gulf 348 airway all the way to Supsu, where we then will fly the Supsu 1 arrival, likely for an RNAV approach for the northerly facing, or shall we say northwesterly-ish facing runway 33. Check the weather at both airports. Currently VFR. I hope, well, I mean, it technically, I guess, is VFR here. Which is good news for us, at least at Paro, so that we don't have any issues flying RNAV because we do not have an ILS approach. So non-precision approach waiting for us on the other side. Currently the temperature, the weather is winds calm. Great visibility without any clouds at the moment. And it's actually a nice cool 18 degrees there. Probably due to its elevation, which incidentally is, 7,300 feet. So in addition, stand by. I muted the wrong volume control. Anyways, sorry for any headphone users. I muted the Sims volume, not my mic volume. Anyways, so in addition to being quite a extreme approach, as you can see, this airport is sort of nestled in a valley between some very high mountainous terrain. So, which we reach basically once we hit Sibsu. And we'll fly a very specific RNAV approach along this valley to this runway. And there is this, for those who are unfamiliar with this airport, there is this foot of this mountain in the way of this runway, or shall we say in the way of the final approach. And we've got mountains all over the place, all of it being in the way of our final approach. So we're going to be snaking through this valley, trying our best to stick to the RNAV procedure, bringing ourselves to hand fly the final bit of the approach as we dodge this little foot of this mountainous area to bring ourselves onto runway 33. And I believe this runway is not terribly long, especially if you consider that the airport's elevation is over 7,000 feet above mean sea level. So we've got really thin air to negotiate, which means we're going to be flying over the ground a lot more quicker than we would at sea level. So we've got higher speeds, higher altitudes to worry about. Thankfully, not so higher temperatures. As mentioned, we said it was about 18 degrees up there. So I'll cut back to that to the Navigraph chart view periodically throughout the flight. But for now, away it goes, and let's prepare the rest of the flight. I didn't notice the fuel truck was done, so we're going to probably be a little bit behind schedule here. So let's request boarding.
Boarding requested. Do you want to board crew?
No, we'll just do the passengers because everyone's aboard. Let's get started here. So I'm not going to explain everything that I'm doing here. That can be for another video. We're just going to move ourselves through this as quickly as we possibly can to make up for some lost time. So we're going to be departing runway 20 via the Igri 1 Echo departure. And it's going to be Kimti transition. Insert. Go down to Kimti here. Let's pop in the airway, which is going to be Gulf 348.
Passengers boarding starting.
And ending up at Subsu. Insert. Go all, oh, we don't have to go all the way down. That's the final point on our routing here. So we're going to go Subsu 1. Actually, let me just double check. I have a more accurate representation of the flight here. So yeah, Subsu 1. I guess we're going to use the RNAV Zulu approach. So yeah, I guess we'll do that for runway 33. Or what? It doesn't look like runway 33. Ah, that's because it's not. We're gonna do runway 33 here. I'm just gonna fix that up here. So that means we're gonna, yeah, let's do the RNAV Zulu approach. Runway 3. Oh, is that why it's, okay, okay, okay. So RNAV Zulu does not apply to runway 33. It's gotta be either X-ray or Yankee. Let's do X-ray then. All right, that's looking a lot better. So RNAV X-ray runway 33. And it's going to be the Subsu 1 arrival. I believe there's no VIA. Oh, there is a VIA. PR888. There we go. All right, we'll insert that. So we're going to go up to our plan view here and just double check to make sure that everything looks like it makes sense. Where's the... Why am I going blank again? We're going to go with the arrows. There we go. My goodness. So early in the morning for me. Please excuse me. Okay. So it doesn't look like there's many discontinuities here. And as you can see, we're going to be sort of snaking our way into the final approach runway 33 at Paro. Alrighty, we'll reset that. Now that I have the routing in, I just want to quickly grab the winds. Oh, I believe we are already finished. My apologies, I didn't show the passengers boarding. But at least you can see that we still have some bags to load. So let's continue on here. What else? So we should be able to put in these values. I tend to like to wait for our little thing there. We'll wait for everything to be loaded before we continue with that. But for now, everything's refueled. We're going to tell everyone to take their seats, get ready for the departure. And we'll set up our departure. So, ATC online. So we're going to head right up to our cruise altitude of 370. I like to put the constraints on here. Right, so this in itself is going to be quite a twisty, windy departure. And we're also not exactly at sea level, to be honest. I'm going to reset this to 1015 just to make the aircraft happy. So yeah. Let's review the departure while we're at it. Let's call it up here for you guys. Right, so with these RNAV approaches, I have to say I kind of miss the old school SIDS that use radio navigation aids to get you from one point to another. Here, the descriptions are merely just listing of the various waypoints. And that's essentially what we will be doing. Or rather what the flight computer will be doing for us. Many things we need to look out for are the various speed restrictions along the routing here. So maximum 220 knots, maximum 230 knots, after which I assume we'll be able to fly out at our discretion. So they're closing the doors, it sounds like. So let's get the rest of the aircraft set up and ready to go here. Doors are closing up, air stairs are going away. Let's start the APU here quickly. So you gotta wait a few seconds after hitting the, this is something I actually wanted to do earlier, but I forgot. It's getting rather warm inside. Let's give ourselves a little bit of relief here and open up the window. As you can see, the temperature starts to drop. That's what I love about this aircraft. It is so detailed, so many cool features. Right, let's start the APU. Let's get the camera here behind us. Loving the sounds. So either way, we're going to have to wait for the APU to warm up a little bit before we can connect it to the aircraft's bleed systems. For now, let's continue popping in the aircraft's weight information. So 52.5 will make it with a 0 fuel weight. 29.7 for the center of gravity here. Block fuel is 6.2. We'll just double check that, or cross check that with the flight plan here. Payload, block fuel is 6.2, so we got that. And the aircraft will go ahead and do its little calculations for our performance. Or at least we'll do that via the EFB here. So as mentioned, it'll be runway 20. It's going to be dry. We're going to use 1+F. I'm not going to force toga. I don't think it will be necessary. Anti-ice will be off. Packs will be on. And sync the weather. Calculate. $117 and $135. The D rate is going to be, or rather the flex temperature in Airbus terms will be 60 degrees and up 0.2. So up. I cannot believe I'm going blank today. Like I'm really 1 up 0.2. Is that how you do it? No. Why am I going blank today? What is wrong with me? Didn't really get some good sleep last night. It's up 0.2. Maybe it's the full up. There you go. And it's 60 degrees. It's been that long since I've flown this aircraft. Alright, happy with that. Here's the load sheet. We're going to cross-check it with our updated load sheet that we received from the dispatchers. Let's see. 52.5. Takeaway is going to be about 58.5. There it is. With an estimated landing weight of 56.4. 88 passengers plus 3, and the Mac Zifu is 29.4. I'm going to, yeah, might as well just, I think, let's just update it to that. Latest thing here. There we go. We will double check that with our yeah, I mean, it's not going to be that big a deal or big a difference. So we'll keep it that way. All right, so let's connect the APU to the aircraft systems here. Oops, APU generator. That comes off, that comes on. I'm gonna go ahead and close the door, the window here. I love the sound effects, as I've said before. Let's get the aircraft set up here. Finish up. The GPU can come away. So before we move the cones, we'll make sure that the parking brake is set and that we do have brake pressure. It's a bit on the low side. I think this is how it works. Can we pump it up with the electrics? Yep, there it goes. We got some pressure in the accumulator here. We turn the electric pump off, and we can tell them they can remove the chocks. Right, so what I like, so we'll accept this to do, is I like to have the performance information on that FMC, the flight plan information on this one. We're going to double check to make sure everything else is set up the way it's supposed to be with flight directors on. The fuel pumps can come on now. We're fully connected to the aircraft's APU here, so that's good. And the passenger signs are set, and we can go ahead and tell these guys to get ready for our push and start. So before I do that, let's just see, how do we want to get pushed? So yeah, we're gonna need to swing the tail left, the nose right. Here comes our, I don't know what you call him. I don't think she would be the dispatcher. She'd be like the ground engineer or something like that.
We are ready for pushback.
Great stuff. Let's turn on the beacon light here because I love to forget that guy. So we'd make our announcement to the passengers. Apologize for the delay. As you can see, the weather has actually cleared up. It's matching more closely to what the weather report mentioned. I really do want to get myself a tablet so that I can have all my checklists available to me. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I think I'm going to try and get one this week. I've always wanted one. I feel like I could never really justify getting one, but based on like, you know, some real world applications for me as well as my virtual simming here, I think it would really be a good purchase. Can't really call it an investment. All right, I'm gonna quick edit this one because this is freeware scenery. I'm just scared that maybe GSX is not gonna be able to interpret you know, where the taxiways are and things, so we're gonna.
Please wait.
All right, brakes released. No ATC still. I really feel like I'm forgetting something. Whenever I stream, I feel like the stream, you know, the temptation to, not temptation, the obligation to be somewhat entertaining distracts me from, you know, my natural flow. So we'll see how I do today. Okay, so we are good for the engine start. We're going to go ahead and do engine 1 and then 2. So we flick that switch over to ignition / start. Wait a few seconds. Clear prop. Are you serious? What's the master caution light here? So why is the throttle not at idle? Okay, let's stand by. Throttle is at idle, by the way. Oh, it's was engaged. The thrust levers were engaged for some reason. All right, let's just get FS Realistic on the same page here. This is not a freaking piston aircraft. I don't know why the hell you are under that impression. Anyways, let's try again. Engine's now at idle. Let's go with engine 1 here. Parking brake set.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start.
Not yet, but
Disconnect.
getting there. Interesting ground traffic at this airport. I love that sound. Just listen to the hydraulics kick in. Let me get my joystick in position here. All right.
Unlocking here.
So, just waiting for this engine to stabilize. There it is. She's available. We're going to go with number 2 now.
Door trunk disconnected.
Let's see what they're up to over here.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Let's go to the camera here. Showing us the gear pin. And she's going to give us a wave. There it is. Cheerio. Thanks for the help. And this engine is on its way to being stable. You can hear the packs coming online. There we go. We're going to go back to norm here. And let's configure the aircraft for takeoff. So flaps 1. Arm the speed brake. Arm the auto brake. You can see the flaps going there. We can check our flight controls. Full right on the ailerons. Full down on the elevators. I'm looking at the bottom middle screen. Full left, center, full right, center on the rudders. Okay, and this aircraft automatically sets the trim for us. All right, let's go. So that's taxi lights and turn-off lights. Go ahead and release the brakes and taxi. So there's no one online. I'll pretty much just announce for our taxi and departure. So we are going to taxi to runway 20. So here we go. What was that? Call sign is Royal Bhutan 101. Okay, here we go. Kathmandu. Oh, we are at the same. Okay, well, at least we know the radios are working. I normally do a radio check for those that have watched my streams before, but today I'm feeling particularly distracted because we have forgotten to do some things down here as well. Okay, that's all looking good. So here we try again. Kathmandu traffic, Royal Bhutan 101, taxi 2 holding short runway 20, Kathmandu traffic. Oh wow, okay, so I'm not used to flying at high altitudes like this. Normally idle thrust is enough to keep us moving, but clearly that's not the case here. We gotta give a little bit of power. So we can do the takeoff config test. Alright. We'll check with the cabin in a second. Let's do it now anyways. Let's do the calls. I love that. That's a new feature, I think. I never heard the ding before, you know, on the initial release of the aircraft. Now you can hear the ding. And I think it actually triggers a check for the cabin. So let's see. Yep, there it is. So they've notified us that we are ready in the back. I wanted to see us, oops, pull away here. So in some of the real life aircraft, Airbuses, you know, you've got these camera views in the screen in front of you as a passenger. So we'll set the camera according to those views. I quite like the tail view. Right, so we're approaching the runway here. So just to reduce the workload on myself, we're going to just go ahead and turn on the weather radar and such transponders as well. And we're going to slow ourselves down here. Get the strobes on because we're going to be backtracking the runway here. Kathmandu traffic, Royal Bhutan 101, backtracking runway 20. Kathmandu traffic. Alright, so doesn't look like anyone's coming. It's difficult to see if anyone's going. Strobes are on. We'll see if the co-pilot can check for us. We don't see any landing lights. And yeah, just because it's, you know, particularly high altitude. I mean, it's not drastic, but you know, we want to use all the runway we can get here. Give ourselves a little bit of a boost of power. Try and keep it under 30% N1 there. All right, so once we're done with the U-turn, we're going to take off. So let's get our landing lights on here. And, oh yeah, we needed to turn off the APU. Got to do that. We'll do that now. Okay, landing lights coming out. That's just for some extra visibility. Gonna make our turn here. So we would have notified the cabin to please take their seats, prepare for takeoff already. I love the sounds. I don't know if this is from, if it's realistic or if this is from Phoenix. Alright, we're just gonna turn on here. Actually, beautiful runway textures for freeware scenery. Alright, it's not the greatest lineup, but it will do. So I believe we are ready to go. So let's go. Kathmandu traffic, Royal Bhutan 101, departing runway 20. Kathmandu traffic. I'm not going to mention the SIDS or anything like that. Alright, so I think this is the Airbus. We'll bring it up to 50%. Love the lag. The time that it takes for the engines to catch up to your throttles. That is so great. And engine stable. Release the brakes. And we're going to go with flex. Listen to that. I believe they say things like SRS, Manflex, Blue. Alright, that's 80 knots. There might be a Boeing call out, I don't know. V1. Ooh, listen to that. That is awesome, dude. Rotates. I don't feel any wind here, so that's pretty cool. Nice and gentle rotation. We don't want to hit the tail. Follow the flight director and positive rake, you're up. I'm going to go early on the autopilot here because I want to do wing views. Autopilot's engaged. Off we go. We don't need this anymore. So in a few seconds we will be asked to set climb power. Love it. Alright, climb power is being asked of us here, so let's go back to climb. D10, there we go. Very slight reduction in power. So we can see that 220 is set in the autopilot. The FMC is commanding the aircraft correctly. We're approaching the flaps up speed. should be there by now, so let's bring the flaps up. Uh-oh, what's happening? There we go. Off we go. They're basically going to accelerate to 230 now. A nice gradual right turn around the city here. Here's the airport we took off from. Basically, you just have to make sure that we stay above the terrain. Alright, so the after takeoff checks, we're gonna disarm the spoilers, the auto brakes automatically get disarmed. Nope. The turn off lights and then those lights will come off. We keep the brakes, oh, well, we're above 10,000 feet, but we have to wait technically to be above 10,000 feet of the airport. So we're gonna miss this cloud here, which I was a little worried about. I think we'll be good. Not to have to ask for any diversions or offsets. Right, I think we can release the crew. Hope my mic has been unmuted this whole time. Yeah, looks like it. What's the transition altitude here? $13,500, which we've just passed, so we can go and pull for standard, push in this case. So yeah, gear is up, flaps are up, everything else is disarmed. The lights are now as they should be. And I'm gonna go ahead and release the crew, the passengers at their own risk. Flying completely around the airport. This being necessary, as you can see, this airport is basically in a bowl, nestled in and amongst a whole bunch of mountains. Alright, we're well above the terrain now, so I think we're gonna just take a slight shortcut. Let's go to KT942. The direct KT942, and I'm gonna step out for a few seconds. Apparently we have a company message. Let's have a look here. I think this is going to say we are delayed. Oh no, I don't think it's a delayed message, that's fine. Okay. Go to the progress page here. Go to the report, this gives us more of a Boeing style progress page. Yeah, I need to take a leak, so give me a couple minutes. I'll leave you in the left wing view here. And I'll be back in 5. All right, I'm back. So we're climbing through flight level 246 for flight level 370. Making our way downtown. So, while this will be my first time flying to Paro in the simulator, or at least this simulator, I have been to Paro in X-Plane a few times. So this an approach I'm not entirely unfamiliar with, but I will say it's probably been a few years since I've flown there. Some of the procedures may have changed. And this is, like I said, the first time I'll be flying there in Flight Simulator 2020. Especially flying the Phoenix. After its latest update, I think they've made some adjustments to the flight model. So all in all, it's going to be like a new experience altogether for me. So there is no guarantee that I'll be able to land there on the first go. If we're super unstable, we'll go around. Ah, crap, I forgot the damn flight clock. I knew I'd forget it. I was gonna do it as I turned onto the runway. I thought to myself, nah, let's wait for the actual takeoff run, and I went and forgot it. Man, that's annoying. Bit of a sudden bank there. So yeah, we'll be reviewing the approach once we get to our cruise level. Just under 10,000 feet to go. It's a bit bumpy. Let's turn on the seatbelt signs here. Make sure this is a flight simulator thing and not an FS realistic thing here. Let's see. Why is it not picking up that this is a... Let's see if we can find like an online profile. I've just loaded an online profile for FS Realistic and the Airbus here. Still bouncing around quite a bit. Let's just go to turbulence. General turbulence. Yeah. It's definitely FS Realistic that's being a little bit exaggerated here with the turbulence. Alrighty. It's a really calm up here. Wow, beautiful. Seriously, we've been climbing for how long now? Look how close these mountains look to us. Still no air traffic control. We are real time. But guess what? It's Sunday today. Yeah, so still weekend. Might still catch someone online. I don't know what the air traffic situation is on Maxim in this region. I guess we're going to find out. Going through the different pages here, you can see what all the different systems are up to. One thing I normally check at 10,000 and then at 18,000 again, and then finally at a cruise level. Normally, when I'm not distracted by the duties of streaming, is the pressurization system here. So as you can see, this is the delta P, or the pressure differential. PSI, a difference in pressure inside compared to the outside of the aircraft. This is the rate at which the pressure inside the aircraft is changing, represented in feet per minute. And the cabin pressure is represented as a pressure altitude, so that it's just a lot more comparable, or easily comparable for us as virtual pilots to get a good idea of what the condition inside the aircraft is relative to the outside. So we're currently just above 34,000 feet. On the inside of the aircraft, pressure is equal to what it would be at 7,500 feet. The idea is that we want this to be below 10. Now, I do find this a bit strange that 10 is over there and the needle is pointing closer to the, what I'd say, 3,000 foot, or 2,500 foot mark. I don't know if that's a glitch. I feel like the needle should be pointing there. As you may have noticed, the pressure inside the aircraft is not changing. This is because we've essentially reached the target pressure altitude for the cabin for this particular flight. So now, pressurization system is going to work to keep this pressure constant for the remainder of our cruise. That is, until we start our descent. So while these two will remain unchanged, you'll notice this continues to change, as obviously the higher we climb with a fixed cabin altitude, the greater the differential will become. As long as we stay below that maximum, we're fine. But obviously, we're operating at very close to the limits of the structural limits of the aircraft. So that we can maintain a comfortable pressure inside the aircraft. If we wanted to release some of the pressure or relieve some of the tension of the aircraft, we could manually increase the cabin altitude, make the air thinner in here, the differential less. But that would be, potentially quite uncomfortable to our patients. So here we are, leveling off at 370. Our altimeters are set to standard already. We're not far from our descent. Normally when I'm within 80 knots, 80 miles of our top descent, I like to start preparing the aircraft for our our descent, so we can do that. As you can see, the FMC is requesting us to do that as well. Before we do that, let's quickly review the approach procedure here. I am noticing something a little strange here. Just stand by. I don't know why it's not pinning chart. Okay, it is, all right. Pull up the chart for you guys here. Right, so RNAV X-ray approach runway 15/33. This is the missed approach procedure here on the right, and the actual approach on the left here. We're going to be coming in via Papa Romeo 888, flying in like this. Missed approach. Follow the valley out, climbing back to Papa Romeo 777 at a minimum of 16,000 feet. So what's going to be very important for us here is to comply with the various altitudes restrictions here, as well as speed restrictions, although I feel like I don't see any. As you can see, the procedure terminates a little bit away from the runway, as we will have to take over and fly this final stretch ourselves, because it will require a little bit of maneuvering. I apologize if I'm shouting. The aircraft is quite loud in my ears. So, excuse me, minimums. I tend to choose the more conservative one, so we'll choose 3,266 or 10,630. That's pretty much it. So, apart from that, it'll be runway 33 if the weather still allows for that. This being the preferred runway because it takes us right to the terminal. Runway is quite long, 7,400 feet. However, as we mentioned, the air is quite thin. We'll have quite a high ground speed, so we will need to consider our auto brake setting. I think we'll get away with a medium setting, although I don't want to be too aggressive with the brakes, but let's play it safe. And we'll do the medium setting. Put the terrain on the co-pilot side. I like also that I think they fixed this terrain logo thing here, or heading or label. Used to look quite nasty. I think we'll keep it on our display here as well until it becomes distracting. Oh, we packed our tablet away. Let's see. We should be able to get access to an updated METAR. Actually, let's call it up here on our MCDU, on our MCDU. Let's get a METAR and a TAF so we can get a good idea of what's in store for us on the other side. But as you can see, looks like the weather is clearing up quite nicely, although to be honest, we're heading out in that direction. No weather data? Gotta type it in wrong. Maybe I typed it in wrong. Ah, no weather data. Interesting. They're not available from the airport. Well, here it is. So, 0230 is very old. It doesn't seem like we have an updated weather report for the airport, but I think the sim is going to run off of this, so we're going to say that the weather's still calm there. It is slightly favoring the northwesterly runway. Visibility is good with the, or rather with there being no clouds in the area. Temperature is 18, dew point 13, QNH 1023. Okay. So we can go ahead and prepare the aircraft systems for that. What I'm going to do is get a head start on our descent here. So I'm just going to check on the charts here what our minimum safe altitudes are. For Papa Romeo 888, it's going to be 17,000, so we'll leave it at 17,000 for now. QNH should be around 1023. Temperature is 18. We'll put 030 out for in the do here. Position, flight level is 180. We'll leave it at that. So the Paro decision altitude is going to be 10,630. I'm not a pilot, so I can't tell you what the different category A, B, C decision altitudes are, what they mean. So to err on the side of safety, we will choose the more conservative decision altitude. We shouldn't have to worry about it because apparently the weather is good. So we're turning towards Sipsu now. Sipsu. That's going to bring us right at the start of these mountainous regions. It's so beautiful here. Look at these rivers and lakes. So I'm likely going to do more than one stream today. We'll see how it goes. So if you're enjoying this stream and you want to see me do more flying throughout the day, please feel free to join me. Hit that like button, as they say. Consider subscribing. Let's see if we can build ourselves a little community here. So we've caught up to the vertical profile. The engine's running at idle. we're floating our way down to 17,000 feet initially. Oh. That. That's what I love about Flight Simulator 2020. And, you know, I started out with Microsoft Flight Simulator until I discovered X-Plane. Then I became an X-Plane fanatic. I didn't touch Microsoft Flight Simulator ever again. That is until Flight Simulator 2020 came out. Excuse me. As I've said before, you know, X-Plane to me will always remain the superior sim as far as aircraft handling characteristics are concerned. I've done some flying in real life. Very limited. I mean, I've been on a few training flights in a Robinson 22 helicopter. I've done a few takeoffs and landings with a flight instructor, obviously, in a Cessna 172. So I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about how an airliner handles, but from the helicopter slash light aircraft side of things, you know, X-Plane really does feel the most natural when it comes to the physical handling of the aircraft. And based on what I've seen on YouTube with real world cockpit videos, the way the aircraft responds to thrust changes, especially on landing, seem to be very realistic. As far as the heavier aircraft are concerned, here in Flight Simulator, I feel like you can cut the power to idle and glide your way or float your way onto the runway, no problem. But when you switch from Flight Simulator to X-Plane, you'll soon realize that that kind of behavior is not very realistic. In fact, I had this habit of slamming the aircraft into the ground every time, especially when I was flying the Boeing aircraft, because, you know, I had this habit of cutting power really early on landing, and the aircraft would just plop right out of the sky, which makes sense. I mean, it's a very heavy aircraft that's in a very high drag configuration. Very close to the stall speed, relatively speaking. So if you're going to chop the power too early, aircraft's really just going to fall out of the sky. So, you know, this is something that's still missing from Microsoft Flight Simulator. But as you can see, and as you may notice, that most of my streams, if not all of them lately, have been in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's just because you cannot get past, or I cannot get past, this beautiful scenery. Having ortho wherever you go is just such a privilege, such a joy. You know, I don't have to actually physically load it into the sim. It's just a headache to have to do that every time. So to have it present wherever you fly in the simulator is just such a huge plus for me that I am actually willing to overlook the dodgy handling characteristics of aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's sad, really. I mean, I still really do love X-Plane, but, you know, with the limited time that I have available to fly these days, you know, if I have to choose between the two, lately it's been Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator. although I do have X-Plane 12, I've purchased a couple of airports for it, so I do intend to do some flights some streams in the future, especially now that the XX737 has been released. I have purchased it because I have this discount coupon awarded to me because I already own the X-Plane 11 version. It's only valid for 2 months, so I decided I'm gonna go right ahead and purchase it at the discounted price while it's available. And yeah, so looking forward to doing some flights in that aircraft real soon. But for now, my focus will be on Flight Simulator 2020, especially with the aircraft that are coming out soon. I'm really looking forward to a bunch of aircraft that are on the horizon. The TBM by Milviz, Launcher Blackbird simulations, and the SimWorks Studio PC-12. These are like two of my most favorite turboprops ever, so I am really looking forward to that. The TBM more specifically over the TBM obviously in the sim, the default TBM, because I'm not a fan of the G1000, so I'm super excited to see that the new TBM is featuring the more classic analog cockpit. So yeah, stay tuned for more of that. Oh dear, what's happening to the ortho here? Just as I said, how wonderful it is to fly in the sim, and there you have this gross ortho satellite imagery here on the left. Very patchy, I don't know why. I hope it improves as we get closer. Anyways, let's continue to focus on the flight here. We've reached our 17,000 foot cap here, so we're going to continue down to, it's like 13,100. All right, we got to focus now, and it looks like that we're gonna want to go over back to the standard setting here. It's 1012, so we're gonna use the local QNH here based on what the flight simulator thinks it is, because I don't know what weather it's using for its source. Alright, we're going to continue down with this VMC. We're going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to bring it down to the final altitude here of 11,800. And I feel like we're really going to start slowing down. How far are we from the airport? Okay, we're not that far, so let's start slowing things down here. So we got to actually start configuring ourselves here. Let's go all the way back to 180. We're going to bring the spoilers out a little bit. Start slowing us down. Start configuring ourselves. Now that we're over the tops of the mountains here, let's have everyone buckled up and ready to go here. So we are apparently capped at 12,400 for this part of the trip. It might change as we overfly this navigation point here. Yep, it does. Okay. We're just going to keep monitoring the aircraft as it continues to descend along the profile here. I really want to start slowing ourselves down. So I think, yeah, we've set ourselves up for the approach. We're going to go with medium brakes. I'm going to keep the... Alright. Spoilers, let's bring them up again. At 200, I believe, we can bring on first notch of flaps. There we go. Speed checks. First notch flaps coming down. That's generally just the slats with, I think, yeah, it's just the slats that come down. And at 180, we're going to bring the next bit of flaps down. It's going to make sure that we really start slowing up and staying slow. Alright, I'm
Terrain ahead.
not gonna lie, I'm a little
Terrain ahead.
nervous. Is there no way to shush the... How do we turn the GPWS off in this aircraft?
Terrain ahead.
I've never actually had to do that. You inhibited? No? Alright, looks like we're getting some satellite imagery here. Kind of like on and off. A bit disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, when are we supposed to be descending here? I feel like we're supposed to be descending. Let's bring the wheels down, just to kind of help with that. 708. Yeah, we're supposed to be... Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, no, okay, we're good. It is actually about time to start the descent anyway, so we're going to start that descent. Arm that. Let's bring this down to a VREF speed of about 130, I believe.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
All right. I do feel like I'm... Wait, what's going on here? Are we being directed to the right runway? Oh, there it is. We've already missed the approach. Why are we so high? Alright, that was a bit of a fail. So, I'm going to drop flap here. And we're going to do the missed approach. So, let's go to flap, speed 140. Okay, so that was a bit of a flop. Let's go to PR 810. Oh, jeez. Alright. We're gonna just take over here again. And we're just gonna fly along the valley here. This is obviously not the correct way to do a missed approach in the Airbus. We're going to do it like this anyways. Let's just climb up to an arbitrary altitude for now. I think the missed approach was programmed in or no? No. Alright, so let's do this manually for now. I think it is programmed in. Looks like according to the flight
Terrain
director
ahead. Pull up.
So we're gonna line up the flight directors, hit the autopilot button here.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Looks like we are climbing.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
want to do is use this one.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
We're going to keep our flaps out for now.
Terrain
so we get,
ahead.
like, maximum
Pull up.
climb here.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Alright, we're going to go. We are climb mode here.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Keep an eye on everything.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
We are going to clear the terrain here. I think I've got the right mode selected for this climb out. Gear is up. We're just keeping 1 degree of flaps down just to give us a decent rate of climb here. Alright, so let's see what happens. What will happen? Not sure. Never done a misapproach in an Airbus before. Okay, looks like it went command. I think so. I'm going to bring up. Let's put a flap. Let's go to about like 200 and... Alright, all the flaps coming up now. There's more than one notch, just barely. We're going to go up to 230. Right, so we botched that completely. Didn't even have my landing lights on for the approach. So we'll keep going for now, I guess. Now we need to figure out how to get ourselves back onto the approach here. I see that we do have a speed restriction there. Let's see what's happening here. So 799. And it's going to take us back to here 777. All right, so we'll have to reload. Maybe do it PR777 like that. Is that gonna work? How's that gonna work? Alright, so cutting track first. Still navving it. For now, I think we're gonna keep it like that. We're gonna level off at 210. So we need to be at 16,000 again, and then this is not making sense to me. Seven, 2, 8. All right. Is this taking me back to the airport? I think so. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go straight back to... Take me to 848 here. Alright, let's level off here first. Leveling off. So let's insert. We want to go straight to 777. So let's go direct 777, execute. There we go. Gonna be a really sharp turn there, so we'll have to manually take care of that. So let's go down back to 180. And let's go down to 16,000 feet. We will do this manually just to manage our altitudes visually here, so we can make sure we do not overdo it. So what I think we're going to do, right, is we're just going to make like a U-turn. So we're going to maintain runway, we're going to maintain heading now. All right, let's go down. Got another 1,000. Increase our descent rate to about 1,000. I feel that's overkill still. Let's go 1,700. We're gonna, like I said, make this like teardrop procedure-like turn. I just don't understand why we were so high, because I think I did make it to the mandatory altitude of 11,800. By the final approach point, we were like super high above the airport. So I think we got to be fully configured well before we get to that point, and it will probably be a fairly, according to this chart, it should be less than 1,000 feet per minute descent. Get an idea of what the terrain looks like around us here. Alright, let's turn on our landing lights here. Again, the passengers are seated. We're just going to let everyone know we're about to land. Alright, let's go for like 30 seconds or so. Our little 180 here. So yeah, obviously if this was at night, I don't even think they allow flights here at night, to be honest, so I don't think that would have to be a concern. But yeah, because it's daytime and good visibility, we're just kind of tailoring our own little just approach situation here. So there we're gonna go with flaps 1. We hit about just under 200 knots here. We're going to go with another notch of flaps as we approach that S there, as we approach 180 knots. Next bit of flap. And at this PR 777, we're going to be at about 16,000 minimum altitude here. So let's make ourselves go back to PR 777. Confirm nav mode as engaged. We're tracking now to PR 777. .180 knots. Ready for this descent. Descent. Initial fix is 12,400 is the altitude, so we're going to set that now. And we'll see what happens if we hit. So The altitude manage button. And we're going to try and be a little bit more ready for the airport here. Once we start our descent, 777 here, we're going to drop the wheels, landing gear. Still armed as far as the auto brakes and spoilers are concerned. And I feel like we might have to manage our descent manually here. So let's drop the wheels. Paro traffic, air. What's it? Air Bhutan, right? Royal Bhutan. Paro traffic, Royal Bhutan 101 is 10 miles south of the field, setting ourselves up for the final approach for runway 33, RNAV approach, descending through flight level 150. Paro traffic. Okay, that was terrible, but anyways. Update our situation here. So 11,800 by that point, so let's bring that there. Let's bring ourselves to the final approach here. I think we're still too high. We need to catch up to this descent path here, so let's bring it, I think, 130. Let's just jump back to our performance here. I think I should have done that. So performance is 129. We're going to keep it at 130. With 712, we need to be at 11,800 feet, but I'm going to go down a little bit faster than that. I feel like we were still a bit, we were rather high, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, that seemed pretty high to me. So, and we are going a little bit faster than we should, but still, this thing says we should be at 850 feet per minute once we reach that final approach point. So, I don't know. We're going to basically do this visually and just be guided by the RNAV points on the ND here. Alright, so I'm going to bring this down even further. So our decision altitude is 10,400 if memory serves, or 10,600, so make it 10,700. Alright, let's come up to about 1,000 feet per minute now. Gear is down. We're going to go ahead and say that we are clear to land, so all the other lights can come on. We're continuing our descent, so we're going to go flaps 3. And flaps 4. Alright, so now we're going around the corner here.
Pull up.
I think we can slow down our descent rate. Let's make it about 500
Terrain
feet
ahead.
for now.
Pull up.
We've reached our descent decision height. Alright. We're gonna level off now.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Clear of the terrain. We're
ahead.
gonna level off
Pull
now.
up.
I think I was a little bit too paranoid
Terrain
about my
ahead.
altitude,
Pull
so
up.
is there no way to silence the
100 above.
Actually, yeah, we should be descending now, so we're gonna turn off the autopilot here. continue our descent. Why
Minimum.
is the terrain so bad? I think we
Terrain ahead.
screwed up again
Pull
here.
up.
I should be a lot lower.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Descending
Terrain
really
ahead.
rapidly, but
Pull up.
we'll have to deal with that. I think we're going to have to go around again. Why is the ortho so terrible here?
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
That's the airport.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull
Might
up.
still be able to salvage this. I'm going
Terrain
to take this
ahead.
turn a bit
Pull
wide.
up.
Just basically increase the...
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to turn that off, so you're just going to have to tolerate it. along
Terrain
with
ahead.
me.
Pull up. Terrain
Try and
ahead.
keep our bank
Pull
angle
up.
within limits here. Alright, I think we can slow down our descent rate. I think we're going to make it. Alright, I think we need to also be a little bit closer to... Alright. Wow, we're really got to be close to this thing here. I think we're supposed to be above this thing. I don't know how you're supposed to do that and still keep to your altitudes here. Alright, I think I would prefer to have manual control of the engines here, so we're gonna disconnect the auto throttle. Maybe even turn on the track IR so that I can see what I'm doing here.
Speed.
Up. Bad, very bad at me. Get some proper speed here. Up.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Alright. This is turning out to be terrible. Let's try and do this while staying within bank. Nope, we're gonna have to go around. Here we
Sync
go.
rate.
Pull up. Pull up.
Whew, terrible. They're coming up. My goodness. This. Flaps one here. Doing the go around.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. 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 Terrain ahead.
Terrain
Pull up.
ahead.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
Terrain ahead.
Terrain
Pull up.
ahead.
Okay, that was very hairy to say the least. We're cleaned up for the most part. Right, so on this next one, we're going to try it again. I'm going to rely more on the LNAV, and we'll try and stick to the altitude restrictions more accurately. We do have to keep an eye on our fuel consumption here because we might have to divert back to Kathmandu if we're not able to get ourselves in here. So 3.2-ish. Holy cow. How did we exceed our thing here? So our, what fuel do we need to get back to? Alternate fuel. It's 2.2. And then we miss out on our reserves completely. Let's give it one more go. One more go. Whoa, why are we so fast? Oh, it would help if I turned the freaking auto... No, the auto throttle is back on. Why are we traveling so fast? I don't know. Okay. I think we've fixed that problem, question mark? Back down to 230. 230. Okay, there we go. Let me try this again. One more time. Probably won't have enough fuel to get back, but let's try. Or rather, let's say we are committed to this because we don't have enough fuel to get back. I think 2.3 is what we need. So we either need to go back now, which in reality we would definitely do, or we just say we're committed to this now and we gotta land whether we like it or not. Go to 130-ish and descend down to 16,000. 180. Configure ourselves for this approach again. That was hairy, and quite notable was the delay that it took the engines to spool up, right? And there was an Airbus crash, I think a few decades ago. It was at an air show, and one of the main reasons the aircraft ran into a bunch of trees is because the go-around thrust just wasn't there when they needed it, because the engine, I think, had been at idle, much like my situation right now with this previous approach. The engine was at idle, and unfortunately you're sort of stuck with the situation where if you need full power, you're not going to get it until like 10 seconds waiting, you know what I mean? So as you can see there, I was very tempted to, you know, raise the nose a lot higher than it was to get myself to climb away from all that terrain, but that would have caused us to stall. And I think we did reach the alpha floor, or whatever it's called in Airbus here. So yeah, we definitely would be reporting this to our airline, and we would probably be in quite a bit of trouble. Let's try again here. Let's see how we go. But we basically, like I said, we are committed now. Well, in a few minutes we'll be committed. We will not have enough fuel to get back to our destination. So let's try and get ourselves established here. Max 180 knots, right? So we're going to slowly start bringing ourselves down. I think we should be configured for the landing already at this point. So let's level off and allow the aircraft to start descending. I mean, reducing speed here, decelerating. We're going to tell this thing to manage our altitude from now on. And we're going to go down to our minimum altitude here, 10,600-ish. Make it 700. Now make it 600. It's closer to 600. All right. And we should be able to reach the flaps 1 setting, which I'm going to do now before we reach 777. And ready for the next flap setting. So let's go down to 170. Okay, next flap setting coming down. We'll see if she starts descending us. Or if we're going to have to manually do it. Oh dear. Okay, we're gonna have to manually do it. I don't know what's wrong now. I think we're in a different mode. I didn't reload the procedure, so drop the wheels for some more drag here. I know, we're already on a bad footing for this approach. Go down to 130. But basically, we don't want to be lower than 18 thou there, so we'll probably come back up. 11.8, I mean. Well, I guess let's do that. 11.8 for that final approach fix. Bring the next bit of flap down. And the final bit of flap. So, at 746, that's the initial fix. At 734, we need to not be more than 12.4. Bring it down a little bit more here. So that's 712, 11,800, max 145 knots. So we're there. And then the rest of the time, now that at about 130 knots, that's apparently going to give us about a 700 foot descent, or mean that we have to have about a 700 foot descent rate. Any way I can shush. We do not have the circuit breakers that work. Oh, they do. This is a big no-no, but out of curiosity, I want to see how this works. Maybe I do not have the time. I can't find it, so anyways, we're going to just deal with it. There's 714 coming up. .4. Maybe increase the descent rate here a little bit. Okay, we're gonna come down now to 10,600, which is about our decision altitude. And we actually should be going at about 700 feet per minute now, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to let the autopilot fly this. They'll be able to manage the altitude and speed a lot better than I can, as was demonstrated on the previous approach. Big mistake putting the throttles into my control. As low as 600 feet here. Probably. Can I get, is there an LS for this? No. Alright. 708. So our decision altitude thing must be at 712. Oh yeah, that was back there, yeah. That was, sorry, no, that was the decision altitude. It should be just before 710. So we'll make it at 710 for now. Let's bring it down a little bit lower, so it doesn't stop us from descending the rest of the way.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
The airport's altitude is, I think, it's what,
Terrain
14,000
ahead.
or something.
Pull up. Terrain ahead.
7,300.
Pull
So
up.
let's go down to the airport altitude here. 7,300.
Terrain
So
ahead.
kind of
Pull
keep an
up.
idea of our, or get an idea of what our progress is for our descent. So
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
according to this thing, we're going to be well off to the airport. So
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
continue descending here. There
Terrain
it is. You see,
ahead.
look how
Pull
high we
up.
are. This is me following
Terrain ahead. Pull
the
up.
recommended descent profile, and we're really high.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up. Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Okay. Say control here. Feel like we're too high, but whatever. Try and do this manually here.
1,000.
How does this thing say we're supposed to do this? This is not the right approach for this aircraft. I think that's what
Think rate.
the problem is here.
Think rate.
Pull up.
Think rate.
I think I'm using the wrong approach for the
Think rate.
for this aircraft. This is probably a turboprop
rate.
approach or something. So here we go
Think
again.
rate.
Probably gonna have to board this. Try and follow the river in here.
Speed, speed, speed.
Think rate. Think rate. Think rate.
We're going around. I think we're going around. Yeah, going around. Damn. Okay. So I think that was my problem. I think I've been using the wrong approach for this aircraft.
Terrain ahead. Pull up. 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 Terrain ahead. Pull
Should
up.
make it.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
All right, so we're committed now. We don't have enough fuel to go back to Kathmandu, so
Terrain ahead. Pull
basically we're
up.
stuck doing this until I run out of fuel. All right. In the meantime, because I think we're going to clear.
Terrain ahead.
We'll clear the
Terrain ahead.
terrain. So just go back to 210. Climb out at 230 knots. Should give us enough of a climb gradient to stay clear of everything. And I'm going to reassess the situation here regarding the approach. So X-ray or Yankee? What's the difference here? Guys, there's no major difference. And I generally feel like, I mean, it's mainly the missed approach it looks like, but I genuinely feel like the initial approach looks like it's pretty much the same. So I don't quite understand how I'm supposed to be able to make that approach as it is. You know, it's just a really, it's too steep, that final descent. Yeah, we are screwed if we can't make it onto the airport. Our fuel currently sitting at 1,600 kilograms. So we are going to be running on fumes soon. What I remember, you know, watching the videos of the real world pilots doing this, I don't remember them coming in over that final hill. You know, that like in the way that this procedure dictates. There doesn't seem to be a massive difference between the two, the X-ray and the Yankee, apart from just the missed approach procedure. That's automatically set up in the flight plan, the flight management system. Start our way down to 160 again. Basically just self-vectoring myself onto that final waypoint. Again, it would be nice to kind of see if we can find that engine, hydraulic, fuel, flight controls. Adding anti-ice. Yeah, just for the fun of it. Not sure what it would be under. Anti-ice lighting. EFD, ECAM. What's that? Tank level low. Alright. We are so screwed. So what do I need to do for this? Wait, let's just turn back to this point here. Direct. I'm gonna go direct to the 777 point now. Pipeline. Arrival. RNAV. Yankee. Gonna start via Air 777. Insert. Let's. We're going up here at 777. Direct. Air 777. Insert. Alright, so they want the left tank pump 1 crossfeed on. Alright, so crossfeed comes on, and these guys need to come off. So basically we are just sharing fuel. Fuel tank, left pump 1 and 2 low, engine mode, connector, ignition. When left tank required, tank gravity feed only, left wing tank low level. Alright, noted. I think what this basically means is that this is our final attempt, so let's make it count. So there's the flap 1 speed. Flap 2. And I'm going to make this thing go down at 10,000 and see if this thing will fly for us. The descent. Okay, I think we're on our own again for the descent here. Drop the wheels. I think I didn't bring the, yeah, turn the lights off, so that's fine. Master caution. Yeah, this is all fuel warnings. Land ASAP. You don't say. No pressure whatsoever. So at 7. Oh, 8. We need to be 708. 712. We need to be at 11.8. I'm gonna say 11.8. Let's go down to our landing speed here. So, yeah, we need to be a little bit faster. We're gonna bring the third flaps down now. Coming in a bit high and fast here, which is not what we want to be doing. Yeah, we know. So we're going to be there at about 11 eighths. Targeting that. Come down a little bit earlier on with flaps 4 here. Alright, so I'm basically the last attempt here is going to be done visually. If that's the rate that's going to bring us there, I want to be at the airport around, what's it? 7.5. This descent rate is going to pick me at the airport elevation at 708. So 715 should be okay. Okay, so we got to, like I said, keep in mind that this is not going to be the final attempt at landing here. No pressure. I'd rather come in too low, so let's go with 1.6. Be level, to be at the airport elevation by that final approach or the decision height place. I'm actually legit nervous. I would not like to. All right, 11.8, that's where we have to be. We're about at 11.5. I want to be a little bit lower than normal. To make sure that we've got that little bit of extra room to play here. I think we have to be even more lower.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Let's go down a bit faster. So yeah, the maneuvers before were really dangerous. Like I said, this is very low density altitude for a landing. So for me to be, Top Gun
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
mavericking it through the, mountains like that
Terrain
on
ahead.
that short final
Pull
was
up.
really suicidal. All right, so let's try and just slow things down a little bit here for us.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Terrain ahead.
All right, so let's do the daring thing here.
Terrain
Take
ahead.
over.
Terrain ahead.
So we've
Pull
got the flight director showing us the descent rate that
Terrain
will put us
ahead. Pull
basically at the runway's final approach. Like basically
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
over the numbers. Let's actually bring it a little bit faster or a little bit sooner down there.
Terrain ahead.
There we
Pull
go.
up.
So we want to try and keep this descent rate. We should be low enough when we get there.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
But I want to fly my own path
Terrain
from this
ahead.
point onwards.
Pull up.
Because this thing wants to take us basically
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
in line with the runway.
Terrain ahead.
Well,
Pull
we're
up.
right over that hill, and I
Terrain
don't
ahead.
think that's
Pull up.
a very realistic.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Way to go about doing this.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Top of it is very bumpy.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
I'm basically just going to try and follow the valley in. Make sure that we do not forget
Terrain
to continue
ahead.
our descent.
Pull up.
I think think we want to hug this hill. I don't know. I think it seems like we're supposed to be either flying over this hill, but I feel like that's going to put us at too high an altitude for that final approach. So, and already I feel like we're too high. So I'm going to try and descend here again. No, we don't want to go around here. So let's just be careful.
500.
Let's take this a little bit wide to give us a little bit more time to play on the final approach here. Got the runway in sight. Alright.
500.
Sync rate.
Pull up.
Gentle,
Sync rate.
gentle. Gentle. There it is.
Speed, speed,
No, we're not going around. Screw that. We don't have time to go around.
speed, speed, speed.
Alright.
Sync rate.
Pull up. Pull up.
3020. Recon.
Ooh, that was bad. That was painful. But we're down. 2 reversers. Braking. We're deselling. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, terrible. Manual braking. I'm gonna take the next one. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. Ugh, well, welcome to Paro. That was humiliating. That was not much better than that infamous YouTube video of that 737 crew just slamming it into the deck here. Whew, that was terrible, guys. We'll probably have to have the wheels, the landing gears inspected here. Let's just bring ourselves to a stop. So we can clean ourselves up here, man. That was terrible. Flaps coming up. Spoilers retracting. Let's turn on the APU. Landing lights can come off. We'll turn the taxi and the turn-offs off here. We've got the parking right in front of us. Strobes coming off. All the radiation's coming off. We got standby set for the transponder, the weather radar, and all the other goodies. That can go back to norm. We've made it just in time to reset the fuel system here. And check at the APU. State. Alright, we're gonna continue our taxi. Let's just see, where shall we park? Let's park it over there. Ah, there's someone actually waiting for us. That was terrible. Why are spoilers down again? Parking brake set. All lights are off. We got the APU running. We can go ahead and turn 1 off, 2 off. Oh, nope, that would have been bad. Lead on. And that's it. We've made our way to Paro. It was a disaster. I mean, any landing you can walk away from, right? But, man, I was really expecting that to be a lot easier. Oh my goodness, and there's actually someone coming in on final approach right now. Can you believe it? Let's see if they do a better job than we did. They didn't even announce on the radio. Nor did we, for that matter. Well, we did announce that we were on our way. So let's check this thing out from the perspective of this historical, or this building. I don't know if it's historical, to be honest. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. So you see, he is coming over that mountain. I'm going to have to watch the videos again. I suppose you're supposed to come over this mountain, but I really feel like it's too steep a descent. I don't think you have much of a choice. But he's coming in over the mountain. There you go. He's diving. Yeah, you see, I should have done that. Trust the charts. I mean, duh. Yeah, I guess you have enough. But I'm pretty sure they flew around this corner in the video. But I mean, this guy's. I mean, he's doing quite a dive. What's his spoilers out for already? Not bad. I think is he still floating? No, I think he's down. He's probably down, right? He's slamming on those brakes. And he has just made it. Very well done. Nicely done. So that's what you get for trying to do things your way, not listening to the charts. Okay, I'm sure there's a APU restriction at this airport, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. Let's let the passengers out, put them out of their misery here. I wonder if GSX is going to work for us here. Let's request deboarding.
Requested.
Oh, I still can't get over that. My efforts in X-Plane were definitely a lot better, if memory serves. This was atrocious. Took us about almost 2 hours to get ourselves here. Oh, wow. Bhutan Airways. I could probably set up a walk-in.
Passengers bus is coming.
So there you go. We're in. Oh, did he disconnect? What? He just took off again. Interesting.
Passengers deboarding starting.
Let's just turn down this airport ambience here. It's a bit over the top. All right, well, there you have it. Our not so satisfied passengers are deboarding. We have made it with barely enough fuel to spare. Just over a ton of fuel on board. I mean, if we look at our flight plan, what is that even? So that is probably about 20 minutes of fuel that we had remaining. We probably could have squeezed out one more attempt, after which, if we would have to go around, we would for sure have lost both engines and perished. So this guy, I guess he's just doing touches and goes here, so to speak. He's coming in way too high, unless this is someone else. Anyways, we'll definitely have to come back one day, because for now it's definitely Paro 1, me 0. So yeah, thank you for joining me for the stream. I'll be taking a break and probably jumping on a bit later today. I hope to see you for the next one. For now, thanks again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and yeah, have a nice day further.